You're listening to Life as a Band Leader with Angela O'Neill and Outrageous 8 Records, where music meets real life and every story swings. From rehearsals to the spotlight, we're sharing the music, the mayhem, and the magic of leading a modern band.
Hi, everybody. This is Angela O'Neill, and this is our Zoom podcast called Life as a Band Leader. And I would like everybody to please welcome my guest, Dave Slonaker, yay, who is an amazing big band leader amongst many other talents. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
It's so much fun to have you here. I have been an admirer for a long time. You have an amazing band. And I'm sure the folks will want to hear about, all that you've done in your career. And but before we go there, let's talk about a little bit about who you are, where you're from. I see you're from Pittsburgh, which, by the way, is one of my favorite towns of all time.
Well, it's a great city, and it has quite a historical jazz background.
I did not know that.
Well, if you research it, being sort of the sort of the path, the Underground Railroad, so to speak,
Oh,
and being Pittsburgh was sort of the Silicon Valley of the early 19th century,
I did not know that at all. That's fascinating.
because that's where Carnegie started his steel factories,
Right.
and aluminum, Alcoa Aluminum started there. Uh, and it became quite a number of immigrants came there because that's where the jobs were.
Yeah.
So consequently, it was quite a melting pot, and there was quite a jazz presence there too. Some great jazz clubs. Billy Strayhorn was from there. Billy
I
Eckstein,
did not know that he has my
Stanley
favorite
Turrentine.
composer arrangers. Yes.
Uh, gosh, so many others.
Yeah.
If you do the research, and so it was. I grew up. I'm not from a family of musicians whatsoever,
Mm.
but my dad seemed to like music. He had a trombone, and so when came time for me uh, to play in a band in my elementary school, the trombone was in the closet. So that's how that started.
Oh my gosh. Now, why did he have, if he was not a musician, why
Well,
did he have a trombone?
he played trombone in his high school,
Oh, okay.
so he always seemed to have an interest in music. But he was an engineer, and um, never pursued that music professionally.
Right.
But consequently, he did have some records, and I guess I started to listen to stuff, and I was fascinating listening to the bands of Duke Ellington and Count Basie whenever they were on TV in the 60s.
Yeah.
I go back that far. And all these variety shows, and they had always had Duke Ellington and Count Basie, Louis Armstrong, Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass. Anything with a trombone in it
Right.
was attracted to me. And so I started taking lessons on trombone, and being in a town where there were a lot of jazz clubs, plus Western Pennsylvania was a heavy dance band, society band.
Okay.
There's that tri-state area of West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and Ohio, and there was a lot of what would they call them? Amusement parks with dance pavilions.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I started to playing in those. And so it seemed to be it was completely an arbitrary thing that happened. I liked music, and kept trying to figure it out. And here I am.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, but that is a big leap. I mean, in talking to other band leaders and other players, that's a big leap between leaving your town and kind of ending up in Los Angeles being an orchestrator, composer, and arranger. Well, first of all, what was that step between playing in those dance bands at those amusement parks and deciding that you were going to be a professional? And did you start composing and arranging early, or were you a player for most of that era?
Well, it gets complicated as
Oh,
life is, right?
yes.
Uh, I think I wanted to be a poet, believe it or not, and a writer. And so
Oh,
I would write little stories. And so that's where the maybe the creative storytelling part came. And of course, in the 60s, there were all these great shows with jazz scores
mm,
by Oliver Nelson, Quincy Jones,
yeah.
Pat Williams. Uh, so I guess those always, I love those shows. And so when you decide, you're from Pittsburgh, which is not in the center of where jazz is. That's would be New York, Chicago, and a little bit in Los Angeles back in the 60s. Um, you try to start to think about, well, what am I going to do after I graduate from high school? And the first step, of course, is to go to a music school.
Okay.
And at that time, uh, one of the there was there were not as many music schools as there are now that had jazz. There was Berkeley School of Music, there was North Texas, and there was Indiana University.
Okay.
Now, Indiana University is where Jerry Coker and Jamie Aebersold sort of started, and then David Baker. David Baker was a fantastic trombone player,
Mm,
plus one of the first great music educators.
right.
So I thought I'd try to get into Indiana, and they took me.
Oh, got it.
And once at Indiana, I was able to get a degree in trombone and take composition classes. Plus, David Baker was a great jazz composer, and he took an interest in me. And so it's, these steps along the way that someone comes into your life
Yeah.
and either inspires you or tells you, well, maybe you should try this. And then when I did my graduate work, I went to Philadelphia, to the University of Pennsylvania, because I wanted to study with George Crumb. I was sort of straddling these two worlds of classical music and jazz commercial music.
Okay. Yeah.
And in Philadelphia, I did a lot of work as a trombone player and arranging in little three-horn groups. And I had a friend who studied with Manny Album, who was teaching at what was then Glassboro State University across the river from Philadelphia.
Hmm.
And he would come down, I think, 3 days a week and conduct the band and teach jazz arranging classes and jazz theory classes. And I called him up one day, just out of the blue, and said, "Could I study with you?" And so that I did that for a year.
That's
And
that's very brave. That's very brave of you.
yeah, looking back, well, I'm leaving out a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Life is not in a straight line, and
Yeah.
in trying to make a living as a musician is not easy.
No.
But so that got me to Philadelphia and sort of a New York connection, because I'd go up and I'd listen to Thad Jones Monday nights at the Village Vanguard.
Hmm.
And so gradually, if you're a composer, if you compose and you play the trombone, possibly you might have an interest in starting a band.
Right.
So maybe that's where it started. Well, if I keep writing, maybe I'll be good enough, and maybe somebody will want to hear my music someday, and so I'll have a band.
Right.
But along the way, Manny Album had been teaching summers at the Eastman School of Music, and Rayburn Wright was a professor of jazz studies there, and he also had one of the early first film scoring classes.
Okay.
So that seemed like a neat thing to do.
Yeah.
And they took me. So I did my master's there.
Oh, cool.
And once you graduate, then you have to decide, well, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
And it was either New York or Los Angeles. And I like the weather here better. So at
That's a
some
big
point,
thing. That's a big deal.
we came out here
Yeah.
and things have worked out fairly well.
Yeah, really well. So backing up one step, I personally, as a musician, find those people who were educators in my formative years really an inspiration. Do you find at this stage of your development that you are wanting to pass on what you've learned in the music business to others, kind of as a result of those folks who helped you when you were a kid?
Well, sure. I've always answer an email or answer the phone if someone calls me, and I if they're in town, I'll take them out to lunch and answer questions. Yeah, it's very important because I was very fortunate to have some great teachers who took an interest in me. So
Yeah, yeah. Without that, it's very easy to lose hope, I think, uh,
yes,
for
yeah.
kids, that there is any future in it, especially these days.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I'm very concerned about that, frankly.
yeah, I think we all are. And what is just to leap forward, what is your take on the future with streaming and all that stuff of music?
Uh, well, I don't think I figured it out. Have you?
No, I haven't.
I mean, it's when I started this band, well, I'd been working here as an orchestrator for a while,
Yeah,
and I kept doing all this work for other people, and I decided, well, I'm a composer too. I'd like to start to write my own music.
yeah.
And so that was about 2010, and we still had Charlie O's, if you remember.
I don't
And
remember that one.
well, that was on in Van Nuys,
Okay.
and it actually was a jazz club, and everybody played there,
Yeah.
and including big bands.
A rare thing these days.
Yes, well, now we have a little bit of a problem. It's a challenge to get a gig. It's a challenge to get a gig on a regular basis here.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably go into the whole publicity, advertising, social media thing,
Sure.
but it is a challenge going forward,
Yeah.
trying to reach an audience and trying to have people come out and see you.
Yeah.
Um, the talent, as far as I see, there's some tremendous young musicians in Los Angeles, and
Tremendous.
people keep coming out with these CDs, and they're so advanced from
Mm.
from where I was at that age,
Right, right, right.
So I think the state of the music is, and some of the new music is so creative. So the state of the music is there.
Yes.
The question is, how do we make some money
Yeah.
without having another gig?
Yeah, the music is in good shape. It's the music business
Yes.
that's not in great shape.
And
Yeah.
I don't have I don't, if you have an answer for it, please tell me.
No, I was just curious what your take on it is. I mean, the folks may not know your incredible background in film and television as well. Funny enough, I'm a prop master in television.
I know.
Oh, okay. As a thing, for money making.
Yeah.
And so I love it. I love working in television and film. And your film credits are incredible. Funny enough, from me looking at them, I think that you have done quite a bit of work with Danny Elfman, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yes.
And the first kind of thing that I produced was with a gentleman named Bill Jackson, who used to live mix Boingo Boingo. So,
Ah,
in a weird way, you and I have almost crossed paths. Uh,
yes. That's
and it's just an incredible, for those folks who don't know, your film credits are Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, A Million Ways to Die in the West. That's a cool tune. That's a cool movie. Oz the Great and Powerful, Alice in Wonderland, Spider-Man, Night at the Museum. A great movie, an underrated movie. Air Force One, Sleepy Hollow, A Mummy Returns. And more importantly, you have orchestrated, arranged, and composed music also for television and animation, including Jag, Murder She Wrote, and the Tiny Toons Adventures, and I'm sure many, many more. Too many to list, I'm sure. How, so that kind of brings us back to where we left off. So you left after having done your master's and came out to Los Angeles. Uh,
yes.
taken some classes in composition. And what's our next chapter?
Well, do you want to just leap ahead to Los Angeles then? Is that how
Well,
does one come here and get started?
did I leave out a section there on the East Coast?
Well, not really. I mean, there's endless gigs, and it all helps build, the experience.
Hmm.
I've played in all kinds of ensembles, and that's what made me, I think, a valuable orchestrator arranger.
Right.
And I like that kind of work because I was able to work with a lot of different people, a lot of different. I was in the studios almost every week. Whereas I think if I had just come out and been a composer, I might have had two gigs a year. It's
Right.
usually when you're working on a movie, you're working as a composer, you're working for 2 months, and that's probably all you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're an orchestrator or arranger, in that 2 month period, you could be doing a number of different films or TV shows. Especially back, I was here in the 90s, which was a great time for network TV
Oh, it was.
and
Sure.
the 2 hour movie of the week kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, that's right.
So you could, we were, and there were still the Paramount Studio still existed
Yeah.
as the soundstage.
Right.
Um, CBS Radford, one of the great legendary stages, was still in
Yes.
existence.
Hmm.
And then all these other little mini studios like O'Henry in North Hollywood, Burbank.
Hmm.
Evergreen still exists.
It does. I
Uh,
just recorded there like three
yeah.
weeks ago.
Oh, well, that was a great, they have quite a history.
They do, and they just did a like a full restoration and redo
Yeah.
of the place, and it looks fantastic.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Because it's tough right now for studios, as you know.
it is.
And that's why I don't know where it's going in that respect. I'm sort of beyond that now. I'm I'm not I'm not going to use the R word, but I'm 74
Right.
and
The R
74,
word.
so I don't necessarily have to take every gig that comes my way at this point.
Right. Which is,
Um, but I think each generation finds a way, and I'm sure they will.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if Hollywood's figured out, uh, the business. I
yeah.
mean, do you? I mean, I'm watching a lot of streaming shows that are now, 10 episodes seems to be the new,
That's the new 22.
yes, yeah, or 26. I mean, it
I
was a
never
good,
did 26, but I did a show for 6 seasons of 22 episodes a season. So that's as big as I ever did.
well, that's very nice for the bank account.
It is.
That's, and that's, that I was blessed to have that.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know where it's going, and I'm probably not. It's not going to affect me.
Yeah.
Other than I just want to. I'm always willing to pass on to composers, young people, what the skills I think they need,
Yeah.
and that goes back to all that time back on the East Coast where I was doing, concert band, uh, concerts in the park, or dance gigs. Back in the day,
Yeah.
if you played a ballroom, you played until 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Nobody does that anymore.
No, never.
We played two sets. How often can you play two sets anymore?
Is
And
it
you have to, and you
two?
used to start at 9 o'clock.
Oh, wow. Was it 2:40? How long were the sets?
Oh God, now I can't remember, but an hour plus,
Okay. Got it.
like 9 and maybe 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember doing a dance band. We called them dance bands back then.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be doing four sets, 9, 10, 11, 12. Coming home at 1:30 a.m. I'm sure you've gone through this too,
Oh, yeah.
and trying to make it home. Maybe oftentimes a 2 hour ride is well, I'm still alive,
Yeah.
but the fact is that I played a lot of different kinds of music, and that I think gave me the background to come out here. Uh, I also I did there was a time when I was an electronic music composer
Hmm.
at a museum in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
So I had that skill. So I think I try to communicate to young people that first of all, don't turn down any gig, and try to do as many different things as you can,
Mhm.
because you never know when you're going to get a call, and you have to figure out a way to get something done,
Yeah.
oftentimes overnight. So uh,
Yeah.
so by the time I was out here, I think I was old enough and prepared enough that things just started to happen. It took a while, but I'm grateful for all the work I had.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general with things artistic, I think the worst thing that can happen to any artist is to actually get an opportunity when you're not yet well, you're not prepared. You're not
Yeah,
yet experienced enough. And that can be a heartbreaking experience. It's actually great if things take a little while so that you
yeah,
have enough experience by the time the opportunity presents itself, that you are absolutely confident all the way down to your toes that you have the tools to solve that problem, you know?
yeah.
And I think the worst thing that can happen to people is that they'll get an opportunity before they're ready sometimes, and that can be really tragic because it leaves it leaves a bad taste in their
I
mouth.
know.
I
Well,
hate
we
to,
all have that too.
yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, it does happen
but I
for
know what
sure.
you exactly.
Yeah.
I, I try to communicate the fact that you gotta know everything really, if you
Well,
can, at least in
everything.
my line of work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, for myself, I was a oboe player for 20 years
Oh,
and played strictly classical music. From there, I went to sang with a rock and roll band all over Los Angeles for I don't know how long, recorded 2 records with them, and then ended up in, jazz and big band. So yes, I agree with you. I think every bit of music, every style of music that you can delve into, to try and experience what that feels like and the tools that it takes to be better at that particular style of music, all of that is really really helpful.
yeah,
um yeah, I mean, and especially like, as a person who sings with big bands, that is a particular skill set. I have
yeah,
seen people, a lot of singers who are great singers, go up in front of big bands and just be like, oh my God, what just happened? It is an incredible skill set to be able to sing with 18 other players.
sure. Well, you've probably did a lot of listening to do that, or listened as a when you were growing up.
Yes, that's exactly right. My dad actually also, like your dad, was not a musician, but was a fan. And so he had a massive, which I currently have, a massive library of, I think, every Stan Kenton record ever released.
Oh, cool.
Harold Garner, Buddy Rich, Carmen McRae was one of my mom and dad's favorites singers. So kind of from soup to nuts, from jazz to big band, but for sure I had that every single night when he corrected history papers. He would put somebody on and play
Hmm.
it until dinner time. And that helps, just having that in
Sure.
your ear, I think helps.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So now we come to present day. You have this incredibly lauded career as an orchestrator, arranger, composer, and you've played every imaginable kind of music. And in 2012, you were nominated for a Grammy, or 2013, I'm sorry, for Best Large Jazz Ensemble Album, Entrada. Congratulations! What an achievement!
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And what was that experience like? So tell me a little bit about that.
Uh, well, it's a fantastic thing. It's a great
Yeah.
honor, you know. Do you want me to talk about how the beginning of that, or
Well, I mean,
both?
the cool thing about that project, it looks to me, just from someone I have not listened to Entrada, but I will definitely listen to it now, is that I believe that they're all original jazz compositions, which isn't always true for people who submit to the Grammys. So these are all your compositions, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then just tell me a little bit about, for someone who's sitting at home who doesn't know what this process is, what was your process? You started to put a record together. Did you have a plan when you first put that record together to submit it to the Grammys? Did someone approach you and say, "Hey, Dave, can we submit you?" Like, how does that all go?
Well, you have to start the band first.
Okay,
So let's go back there.
let's do it.
If you're going to have a band and you want to perform in front of people, then you have to start to think about, well, what am I going to program? It can't be all blues.
Right.
It can't be all fast numbers. So you have to, the first thing I did is I started to think about, well, I'm going to put together a book. What kind of tunes
Yeah.
do I want? What kind of charts do I want? Um, I had already been writing for a while, and I grew up listening to Thad Jones and Bill Holman. Speaking of Stan Kenton,
I love the whole
so
man.
I think my material comes out of that vein,
Hmm.
and so I started to think in terms of what if I was going to go into a club. Uh, how would I program that? Because you
Okay.
can't do all fast tunes, you can't do all slow tunes. So I think that's where it starts. Then you have to write it,
Yeah.
and then you have to get the parts copied.
Yes.
You have to copy them yourself.
Yes, you do.
And I've had experience copying parts way back since the 70s.
Okay.
So that all goes into it. And then you start to think, well, who do I want in this band? And since I had worked in LA for 20 years,
Right.
I had worked with a lot of the musicians that are in my band. And so it was easy and they knew me, and it was easy to say, well, I'm thinking of putting together a band. Would you like to play?
Yeah.
And 100% musicians in Los Angeles want to play
Yes.
in a band. You have no problems finding people. You do have problems scheduling them,
Yes.
as you well know, probably.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a minute because that is a frustrating process.
Yeah. For
So you get the material, you get the musicians, uh, and then you start to think about where you're going to record, um, what's it going to cost, of
sure.
course,
Mhm.
and and you schedule it and do it, and it came out fairly well, and so that and actually this time of year is when you can start to submit a Grammy, your CD recording for a Grammy. You have about, I think, 2 months
Mhm.
or a month and a half. I guess it's July through September,
Yeah.
so 2.5 months. And then I just was lucky. It was we recorded at Capitol,
Oh, wow.
and
Incredible.
I had done a lot of TV there, so that's a great room,
It's
and
a great room. The Frank
uh,
Sinatra room, right?
yeah, yeah,
51.
and many others, but yeah,
Yeah.
the large one, yeah,
I mean, we see the film of Frank always singing in that room, but Nat King
yeah,
Cole obviously too.
right. Um, and so it worked out well, and then I was lucky enough to be nominated. So uh, and and so there you go. Now getting to the fact, trying to get the musicians together for rehearsing, that
Yes,
is always, to this day, is the challenge
it is.
because everyone is busy,
Yep.
especially the higher up the food chain they are, and I respect that. And so, I have my database,
Yeah.
and I have my Excel file with dates, possible dates, and times, possible times, and it gets kind of complicated.
It does.
And then you also start to build up some subs.
Hmm.
So I like to have at least one person or two people that could play a specific book.
Yeah.
And And so that's part of, I think, establishing a band,
Yeah, for sure.
finding a place to rehearse
Hmm.
too. But
Hmm.
in LA, we have the Union was always the spot where everybody rehearsed
Hmm.
back when it was on Vine, and they still do, even
I
though
do.
it's moved.
Our band
Yeah,
rehearsed there.
I do too. But the Vine
We do Wednesday
spot,
night.
what's that?
We have Wednesday night. Wednesday night
Oh,
for 10 years had Wednesday night.
oh, really?
Yeah. It's
Well, the Vine Street location was great because it was a hang. We had to pick up our checks there
yeah,
if you were working in the film industry,
yeah,
and I'm still the credit union was there, and so it was a great hang.
yeah.
Um, so it's relatively easy, and I think it's easy in New York too to rehearse at their union. Um, so that was never really a problem finding a rehearsal room. The challenge was always to get everyone, but there was always someone,
Yeah.
and you're going to need that base anyway when you start to perform because you're not going to get the regular band every time.
No.
It's just impossible.
It is. It's impossible. Yeah, and depending on what the pay is and all of that, an audience member recently said to me, why didn't this band member come, to the show or whatever? And I said, well, I mean, we weren't paying enough, and you got to
Oh,
respect that. Like he got get an offer for a gig that was, a
yeah,
tremendous amount of money, and I absolutely would never what's the word, hold on to anything like that. Like it's like, you got to go. If it's a huge paying gig, you got to go. And
sure.
I'm not paying, that huge of money. You got to go do your thing. So
Yeah.
that confuses the issue quite a bit, is being set up for months and months. And that kind of gets us into trying to do live gigs at the very few venues that are left here in Los Angeles, and going through that process of trying to get to ears, right? You kind of said before, trying to get to audiences, because I find that once people come and hear the band live, unless they're all fibbing to me, they really enjoy it. They really enjoy, I mean, when we play live, in a spot that's like a daytime, like we do a matinee sometimes, and people walk by, they are fascinated to see an instrument and a person playing it. And I'm not being weird in any way. I mean, they just don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
And just walk by and see a tenor player doing a solo. I sometimes, where we play in Monrovia, there's a crowd of people out on the street just
Oh,
fascinated by the
uh-huh.
fact that there's an eight-piece band playing. I mean, they're just gobsmacked to see such a thing. And so to get those folks, kind of engaged in the process through, like you said, like social media, all those kinds of things. How is your experience going with that, with your band?
Well, I've been playing vibrato,
Yeah,
and
I saw that, which is a great room.
I love the room. Um, what I'd like to be playing is somewhere a little bit more often, and that's tough because I don't think there's a pure jazz club. I mean, there are, but they'd be willing to have big bands every week or on some kind of regular basis.
Like on a schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we almost had that. I don't know if you want to bring up. Um, oh, I know the club on Studio City, which I had high hopes for.
The
The write-off room.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for that room. Um, but it's tough because I think even though people, once they come out, they love it, but
Hmm.
there's too many other distractions for their time.
Yeah.
Plus, Los Angeles is a little different from New York City in that in New York, you have quite an international, you always have travelers, and if you build up a name, you're going to get an audience every night.
Hmm.
Um, that's not necessarily the case here. We're not centrally, I
Right.
mean, I'm interested in where you're playing in Monrovia. Maybe I'll give them a call.
You know what? Here's the saddest story. They just closed their doors.
Oh my gosh. And why?
Well, in that case, the owner, actually, his wife is in ill health, and
Oh,
he needed to sell to go to Europe, actually, to get her treatment.
oh,
And so it isn't the normal like the Right Off Room story where they just could not get people out to that club as much as they would like to. Yeah, the Poorhouse was actually very popular, and they had music there almost I don't know, 4 or 5 days a week.
oh,
So that's pretty amazing. Jody was an amazing supporter of live music, a former player, and that always makes a difference. If the owners
yes.
are musicians and love music and support music, that really helps our cause.
Yeah, that's definitely what you need. And especially for big bands, you need someone that really likes it because we're not going to make a lot of money.
No,
But I do have, I've built up my contact list. And I could bring in people every time I play, and break even. So so that's not a growth industry, but it's
no,
it's it's my hobby. It's like I always refer to my big band as my boat.
like your sailboat. It's your sailboat.
Yeah, somebody, I mean, you reach my age, you saved your money,
Right.
you might want to have a boat, and it's a money pit from everyone that,
Everybody knows that.
yeah. But
Every
so this is
you
my
have a
boat.
losing money.
This is my boat, and it's
Uh,
okay because I'm a composer,
yeah.
and I learned a lesson. Um, I guess going back to why I started this band is my wife and I go down to the another reason why I started to feel that I had to have some outlet for my music.
Mhm.
My wife and I go down to the Laguna Beach Arts Festival every summer,
Oh yeah.
and we've become friends with many of the artists. And we go to other arts festivals. And the one thing I notice an artist is producing and is going out every weekend somewhere
Yes.
selling their art.
Yeah.
And it made me think that, well, I'm not doing that, and maybe I should.
Yeah.
So I feel that this is what I'm doing with my band. And uh, I have a fan base. It's not large, but I have fans around the world that contact me and buy my music, my
I love that.
my arrangements. So that's what an artist has to do. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter whether you're a musician or you're fine arts or a writer.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
we do need a club in LA with an owner that really loves the music and is willing to stick with it
Yeah.
for a while. And I think I don't want to get this personal, but I think the Right Off Room did not stick with us long enough.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've got to create the habit. You have to
Yes.
create the habit of people knowing about the club, and they know that on Tuesday nights there's going to be a big band. Wednesday night there's going to be a small jazz group or jazz singer,
Yeah.
and that's consistent over time. Because otherwise, I mean, this is the way I see the time we're living in right now. Is there's too much competition for someone's attention?
Yeah.
It's too easy to stay home and
It
put
is.
on the latest streaming episode of whatever you like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guilty.
I am too. I always say in every live show that I do, I always say, thank you so much for having kicked off your slippers and turned off Netflix and come out to see a live band. It is a big deal for all of us.
Yeah.
Anybody who comes out, it's a big deal that they came out of their house. And so I'm always so thankful to any audience members who come out and make the effort to get dressed and come out and
Yeah.
schlep around LA and do all of it and come out to a show. It's pretty impressive. Like you say, considering how much competition we have for all entertainment. That's very easy, that you don't have to do a thing for it. It's
Yeah.
already there. Yeah. Yeah. And so how do you you were just saying you do when you do go out, you can fill the place up. What is your process, since we were talking about at the beginning kind of promotion and all that? If somebody, if somebody who's just starting has a band and they've gone through the process you're talking about, so they have composed, they have filled seats in the band, they kind of know who they want their players to be, they kind of know what their goal is as a band, they know kind of what the program is going to sound like. And you have a club that you want to play at, let's just say theoretically. What's your process from there to put butts in seats, as the venue people like to say?
Well, it's always kind of iffy until the 4 days before.
Yes, that's so true.
My process is, I don't know if it works or not, but I try to send out a newsletter every week, or, like 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks before the specific night.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that people that know about me or have been out, this is my mailing list,
Yeah.
are aware.
So collecting a mailing list for those people who have young bands, putting together a mailing list is crucial, right?
Well, I think so because there no club does advertising anymore. Remember those days when you could look in the paper and
I
see that?
don't, sadly.
I mean, and I think that it's kind of unfair actually
Yeah.
because it's up to us to do the artwork, uh, the photography, and then well, obviously we put our stuff on Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram, and I haven't done TikTok, but I think I'm going to go
Yeah.
TikTok,
It's so
and
easy.
Instagram too.
It's user friendly. Yeah, I mean, there's like seven
Yeah,
platforms. If you
yeah,
include YouTube, Threads,
yeah,
Instagram, Facebook, a TikTok, I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on.
yeah. And the problem is that takes time,
It
which
is
is
an eater.
which is my pet peeve. But
There's no,
somehow you have to do it, even if you get help, which I do get some help.
yeah,
Um, I think for a young band leader, you have to start with, uh, if you're a student, with the people you're going to school with,
yeah,
and you have to start with the people in the band. And I mean, I think they have some obligation to help you
yeah,
to get an audience because it will take a while before you get the mailing list.
right.
That was the advantage of the blessing of the Grammy nomination. It did
Hmm.
get me people that were now aware of me, and so I was able to build up a mailing list that way.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's hard, and I don't know if it works as well anymore. I'm sort of at that period where I don't know what works anymore
Yeah,
because I think we're getting tired of Facebook because of the politics, and it's kind of changed, I think.
yeah, yeah,
And so I post something, but I don't know if that's what's doing it anymore. I think somehow people get to know, and 4 days before the gig, somehow
yeah,
you start to let people know, and you get people in, and fortunately at Vibrato they have people that are going to come in there no matter who's playing,
right,
and that's nice too, to have to get a gig at a restaurant or someplace that has people that just want to go there and hang out,
right.
you know.
Exactly. I mean, that is a rare thing. I think Catalina has that as well, not as much, but Vibrato, I think, might be the only club in town that's really true of, that people are going to show up and come have a drink,
Yeah,
listen to some music, even if they don't know the artist. That is really unusual.
yeah, I'm very fortunate to be in there right now.
Yeah. Well, what an amazing career you have had. Just for those folks who would like to listen to your music, what is your website, etc., for people to reach out to you?
DaveSlonaker.com.
Okay.
And you could there's if you there's a place you can be you could be get on my mailing list.
Right.
It's all there. It's kind of I'm trying to think maybe I should be simplifying my website. It's got a little bit of film, it's got a little bit of jazz,
Right.
but there's a way you can get on my mailing list, and I'd appreciate it if you're so inclined.
Okay. All right. And what do you see for the future? So when are you playing at Vibrato next? Do you know? So that people could come see you if they wanted to.
Well, we'll be there on September 30th
Oh,
at
cool.
7:30,
Okay.
and I am mixing a new CD or a new
Oh,
album.
let's hear about that.
Well, I'm in the process. We recorded at the Village in
Oh, cool.
Santa
I just
Monica.
went there. I just went there and saw a band like
Oh,
a
really?
month ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very,
that was kind of a
very
thrill.
fun. Yeah.
We were in the Fleetwood Mac room, I guess.
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah, I'm excited about it. But I'm still in that editorial mixing process, so it's not going to come out until probably January.
Yeah, it is a slow process no matter what you do. And now when you go into the studio to record stuff, do you generally speaking use the same folks who are in the live band?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I look at it. My initial inspiration was always Duke Ellington, and there was a group
Yep.
of musicians that you would expect, and so this is the third time I've used the same people,
I love
and
that.
so I'm excited about it. Uh, um,
No, I think various people have various approaches to how you go into the studio. Do you, before you go into the studio, do you get everybody together and rehearse and kind of run through stuff just so you can get a chance to listen to compositions and make any changes since they're your original compositions? Do you tend to do that, or what's your rule of thumb on how to prepare to go into the studio?
well, we had some rehearsing. Um, we didn't really get into specifics of planning a session,
Hmm.
but um, and I don't know how specifically I want to get because this is for the world. But
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, we do have a low budget agreement,
Uh-huh.
which is very helpful if you're trying to do something like this.
Yes.
And I sort of plan it so that I can maybe do one tune per hour.
Okay.
And so if the first two CDs were 10 charts, so I planned for 12 hours in the studio,
Okay.
2 days,
Yep.
6 hours a day. And I had that extra time because inevitably the way it works is you're probably going to, if you're going to spend an hour on a chart, the union rule is 50 minutes on, 10-minute break.
Okay.
So usually we listen to it and then go back in and fix things. So you're going to need a little bit of, an hour a tune is pretty ambitious,
Yeah, 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 pretty tight.
especially for my music, which is quite hard.
Mhm.
So we do rehearse it in advance because we can't be rehearsing in the studio.
Right, exactly.
How many rehearsals that is really up to the schedule of
Right.
everyone's schedule. That's where it gets kind of
Yeah,
dicey
yeah,
because
yeah.
everybody's busy. But I started to plan it 6 months in advance, and I was actually playing some of the latest music. I was actually playing it as long as 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, by the time we're ready to record, we know it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the reason I asked the question is exactly for that reason. As far as like our little octet or whatever, I often use tunes on the records that we have woodshedded a lot prior to getting into the studio. So we've worked out any kinks. We have two arrangers in our band, and so and we do original compositions as well. We rehearse them quite a bit before we decide that they are going to be on a record, if that makes sense. Uh,
Sure.
because we have the luxury, I guess is the word, of getting feedback from people a lot from the audiences. As far as like, I'll have people come up to me and pick out a particular tune that we've played and say, "Oh, that is killer," and that kind of goes in my memory bank for future thing that is something that stuck out to people. Is that kind of the same process for you? Do you get feedback on stuff from audience members and you're like, "Oh, that's interesting that they like that," and then that helps you decide what to put on your record?
Sure.
Yeah.
I get feedback from the musicians too, which is,
Yeah. You can't stop them.
no, I want to know if they enjoy playing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think you have to work out, so it can get to be so expensive that
Yeah.
you have to know exactly, uh, what you want. And of course, they're going to be adventures regardless, as there were in this one. We won't go into it, but it's the recording process is, the clock is ticking,
Yeah.
and I did bring in two charts that I had sort of written near the end
Hmm.
that we had not really played for several gigs. But as much as possible, you got to know the charts. You can't be rehearsing in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really, really good advice. I mean, back in the day, and you read the biographies about rock and roll bands and stuff, and they're all going into the studio with like nothing written. They're just, "Oh, well, we'll write it when we get there." It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, that it gives me the hives. I can't imagine it being that loose, but I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe studio time was less expensive than, I don't know. But that sure would be scary to go into a studio and just be like, "Okay, we're gonna throw something together real quick."
Right. Not with a large ensemble, I don't think.
No. Well, what an amazing, like I say, I'm a huge admirer of yours. I love your music. I love the band. And you're playing at Vibrato, which is for sure one of my favorite rooms here in LA. It's not cheap, unfortunately, but it is really worth people, saving a little to make sure that they get out to see you on September 30th. It'll be 7:30. And for those folks who don't know where Vibrato is at the top of Beverly Glen, top of Beverly Glen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you go kind of at the apex of where Beverly Glen and Mulholland meet. You go a little bit further towards Hollywood, just like a half block, and you'll see a what kind of looks like a strip mall on your right hand side if you were going towards Hollywood. And that is where Vibrato is. It is owned by Herb Alpert and his daughter runs it, right? Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so they are surely appreciators of music and of original music and of amazing musicians like yourself. And so everybody I know, I have never played there, but I've seen a lot of bands there, and it is just the most incredible experience. The acoustics in the room are amazing. I find the audience very appreciative of music and musicians, which does make a big difference in the experience of the musicians. And also they should look for your record. Do you have a title for your record yet?
Sort of, but I'm not gonna put it out there just yet.
It's a secret still. Uh,
We're still working on that in some ways.
yeah, yeah, I understand. But Dave Slonaker, .com, Slonaker.com. And I wish everybody would sign up for your mailing list and for sure go to see one of your shows. For the folks who don't go to see big band regularly, it is just an incredible aural and almost physical experience to have that many instruments all playing at once. It is the most incredible experience live. It is incredible on CD and on streaming as well, but live it is something else. And if you have not had that experience, I hope that people will come out and see you at Vibrato, a beautiful club with an amazing band, and you, Dave, and your original compositions. I mean, the scope of your work is just mind blowing. And for those people who are just starting out in music or maybe still in school who might see this podcast or hear this podcast, whichever way, I think the message of the day has been, feel absolutely diversified as a musician. play as many different kinds of music, have as many different kinds of experiences as you possibly can. Be a sponge.
Yes.
That will all coalesce into you being an amazing musician at the end of it. What is your final word you would like to give to the folks here who might be listening to the podcast? We are almost at the top of the hour.
Oh, well, I would add to what you just said, don't give up. Because any long twisting road can still lead to success.
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Well, thank you so much, everybody. This has been Dave Slonaker and Angela O'Neill on the Life as a Bandleader podcast. We are so honored to have had Dave visit with us today, talk a little bit about his incredible time as an orchestrator, arranger, and composer in film and television, and also his big band called the Dave Slonaker Big Band, which will be performing again September 30th. What day of the week is that, Dave?
Tuesday night.
Okay, a Tuesday night at Vibrato, which is up at the top of Beverly Glen at 7:30 p.m. Do not miss that show, everybody. And keep an eye out in January so that you can see the release of Dave's new album, potentially another Grammy-nominated, beautiful jazz ensemble album. And we will find out soon what the name of that will be. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on the podcast here, and we will see you very soon. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Life as a Bandleader. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did making the music. If you loved what you heard, go ahead and hit follow, share it with a friend, and make sure you get tickets to the next show. Visit outrageous8.com for upcoming shows, music, and a little more band madness. Until next time, keep swinging, keep smiling, and keep the music alive.